Sometimes you don't want to come home, not because of the people waiting for you, but because you already know what's coming. The cold, the silence, the fear of touching the thermostat. In 2024, an estimated 2.73 million households in England, about 11%, fell into fuel poverty. That means people weren't heating their homes based on comfort, but based on survival. Turning the heating off, wearing jackets indoors, watching every pound on the smart meter tick down like a countdown timer. But this is just the beginning of the story, because behind the charming villages, the historic streets, the red phone boxes, and London skylines, the United Kingdom is quietly facing a reality far harsher than the postcards suggest. And before this video ends, you're going to see something most people in Britain never talk about out loud. London, the capital, the global city of opportunity, now demands an average rent of £1,957 per month. That's more than 41% of a typical private renter's income. Imagine almost half of everything you earn disappearing the moment it hits your bank account. And that's before food, transport, or heating. For first-time buyers, it's even harder. You now need a household income of around £60,600 just to get on the property ladder. 2 salaries, 2 full-time workers, and still barely enough. Home ownership, once the foundation of British dreams, is slipping further away, replaced by long commutes, shared flats, and the constant fear of rent increases. But here's what no one talks about. This crisis didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen for one reason. It was a perfect storm, a surge in population, a shrinking housing supply, energy prices that exploded after global shocks, wages that stayed still while everything else moved forward. In the year ending December 2024, the UK saw a net migration of about 431,000. Lower than the previous year, yes, but still historically high. More people, more demand, more pressure on an already strained system. Housing, infrastructure, public services, everything stretched thinner than ever. The UK's industrial base is quietly slipping away, not with a dramatic crash, but with a slow, steady fading that's almost easier to ignore than to confront. Output in energy-intensive sectors like paper, petrochemicals, cement, and basic metals has collapsed by nearly a third since 2021, sinking to its lowest level in 35 years. It's the kind of drop that doesn't just show up in economic charts. It shows up in empty car parks, silent loading bays, and factory gates that no longer open at sunrise. These were the industries that once powered entire towns, steel plants that hummed through the night, workshops where fathers, sons, mothers, and daughters worked side by side, mills whose whistles marked the rhythm of daily life. Now, many of them stand half silent, operating at a fraction of their old capacity, or shuttered completely. They're being crushed by forces far bigger than the workers inside them. Electricity prices that rank among the highest in the Western world, steep carbon levies that widen the cost gap with global competitors, and an international marketplace that rewards the cheapest producer, not the oldest one. And as the machines slow, everything around them slows too. The cafes that serve the morning rush go quiet. The apprenticeships dry up. The sense of purpose that once held communities together starts to thin out. Wages stagnate, jobs become less secure, and the specialized skills that define these regions begin to erode. Not because people have forgotten, but because there's nowhere left to use them. Generations raised on stable industrial work now watch their opportunities shrink, replaced by temporary contracts, service jobs, or long commutes to cities that feel worlds away. What's disappearing isn't just industry, it's identity, certainty, the belief that hard work in your hometown could build a life. And for many communities across the UK, that loss is becoming impossible to ignore. And then there's the NHS, the pride of the nation, the institution generations were raised to trust. Still loved, still defended, still the symbol of care without conditions. But behind that pride, the weight of decades is finally showing. Vacancy rates for essential roles hover around 7.6%, but numbers alone don't capture the reality. Wards run short-staffed, departments scramble to fill shifts, and experienced workers often become mentors, nurses, counselors, and crisis managers all at once. Corridors that were never meant for patients have become waiting rooms. Stretchers line the walls. Families sit for hours, sometimes days, hoping someone will call their name. Waiting times stretch not because people don't care, but because the system is working at full capacity every single minute. The pressure never leaves, and through it all, staff keep going, pushing through exhaustion with a kind of determination that doesn't come from training, but from heart. Put these pieces together: the fading industrial engine, the strained health service, rising costs, and you start to see why millions in the UK now live inside a maze of impossible choices: heat or groceries, rent or savings, a cramped flat near work, or a long, draining commute from the only place you can afford. Every time households adjust, something else goes up: food, electricity, transport, insurance. Everyone is giving up something: space, comfort, stability, even dreams that once felt completely normal. But here's the twist most people don't see coming. It's not that living in the UK has become impossible for everyone. It's that living comfortably, securely, safely is becoming harder for more people than at any point in recent memory. And that's why the feeling spreads. The feeling that the place you call home no longer feels like home. Not in the way it used to. Not in the way you grew up believing it would be. Yet this story isn't over, because there are patterns hidden inside the numbers. Patterns revealing which regions and neighborhoods are being hit hardest, where the pressure is coming from, and what the government is doing, or not doing, to fix it. Pressure points, demographic shifts, cost of living fractures that are shaping the future of Britain in ways most people still haven't seen. And that's what we're diving into next. If you want the full breakdown, the most affected areas, the rising danger zones, and the unexpected places people are fleeing to, you already know what to do. Subscribe only if you learned something new today.